Yeah, man, I'm Ugandan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Esangulo funango limumbi maotandi sorugendo nakaredio kayimba. Esangulo funanga ndikukubo emoto kanjirinda notankuba lufufu. Esangulo funango linowe wakemyenga nanga wange bwemba. Nakujofunango yayi womusai nga he's about to die. Nakujofunango wange yayi womusai. What do you make me cry?
Yeah, man, I'm Ugandan.
Nimuna Uganda and I'm proud to be me. Nimuna Uganda. Nimuna Uganda and I'm proud to be me. Nimuna Uganda. Nimuna Uganda and I'm proud to be me. Nimuna Uganda.
Listen to me. Boy, I'm Ugandan. I'm so proud of something that the end of that thing me a shivering and and I can't so tell me Uganda. Let me see the light and I need for Uganda. I love him where we roll it. People so nice and free. My home, my heart, the place that we so really want to be. I love you where we roll it. People so nice and free. My home, the heart, the place that we so really wanna be. Yeah, yeah, Uganda, Uganda, Uganda. I will say Uganda, my homeland. Shabba.
Nimuna Uganda and I'm proud to be me. Nimuna Uganda. Nimuna Uganda and I'm proud to be me. Nimuna Uganda. Nimuna Uganda and I'm proud to be me.
Listen, I'm talking about Uganda. Listen, who you can't make good up we lay our future in thy heart. Yo, united we for liberty together we will always stand and not this hand.
Wow, it's a very good morning to us all. Thank you so much for joining us today, Monday 1st of March 2023. Mwebale muno kubaho hona hamuli yoku mwebale no Gonza 4 TV kandi muchiyebale ikire cha hate cha Labor Day. Hope everyone is enjoying ebyakwijukamu abantu abayira toso kumanya so buli omu ali mubye kandi inyinywe n'abakyali yoku are still in bed. You wake up, go and work, musere kyokulya musere nyencha kokumarabaho nyencha nungi abana banyu n'abantu abanyu abarungi. Once again, good morning to you all. Today I'm not alone in the studio. I'm with my guest called Osbert. Owakuja kubeyanjuraho ababalizeho actually kumufaho muno kusinga hali yebi nyo of course timbumanyire. So let him first say hi to you. Ngotayongere.
Yeah, a good morning to all of viewers. Thank you so much for loving 4 TV. This is another date to celebrate, and this is a fact which we should celebrate. I'm Arinda Osbert, the good president emeritus for Mountains of the Moon University. And I'm an economist by profession, and because I made it from the mighty University, Mountains of the Moon University.
Okay.
And apart from that, I'm a well-oriented cadre or a well-oriented youth of Uganda. As today, we celebrate with the entire world about Labor's Day. We as young people, as a generation, we must remind ourselves and we get a focus to see what should we do to participate in a competitive labor force of the entire world. If Uganda is to be maintained as a part of Africa, if Uganda is to compete at international level, so nobody can do it apart from the generation of younger people. Uganda is blessed with a big population of younger people, whereby 78% of the total population of Uganda is constituted by young people. But young people of Uganda, somehow, the colonial tools of education, which they impose to us, they have led us to be useless as young people.
Okay. So that's why tuizere no mtu kugamba how to shed the ideology of future leaders.
Yeah.
in line with work. So eki nicho kiro chat kujja kubazaho, I think nicho yabana tryinga kubasobora obutulio tugenda maiso. So leka tugumizemu na program atusoboreho. First of all, since today is a Labor Day, leka manza atusoboreho omuntu ahero kwaso kubaliyo nomanya tikuli gamba everyone aine kuba namanya kiki kyenyini ekigenda maiso rundi kiki buli kintu ekikumanyisa halo habali ahero kutiba kumanya ekigambo Labor Day kimanyisaki. Of course we all celebrate ebyo byamani mani to celebrating baitu abantu abayingi celebrating ebintu tukumanya what those things mean. So mbere nisa Mr. Osbert abanza tusoboreho hakigambo cha Labor Day. Labor Day kimanyisaki.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the government of Uganda, which is chaired by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the General, for accepting Ugandans to join the entire world to celebrate this International Labour Day. In the same way, I take this singular honor to appreciate the founders of the mighty Mountains of the Moon University for starting up the university in the region, and the government of Uganda. Thank you so much for blessing it to be a government university. So for that, I first appreciate the founders of the university, because they are the first workers of this place. As you know, education is a tool of change. When you look at the word labor, it is just in a simple transition, you must work very hard. Most Ugandans were believers, and we know it was a directive from God. You must work very hard to survive. So Ugandans, if we are to survive and to be competitive, we must work extra hard to make sure we have an impact. In early 2018, when we had some discussions about curriculum of Uganda, a lot was discussed. Why do we waste a lot of time while in schools, but we don't get the real education? But the facts were discovered. The education we look at as education, it's not education, but it was a document that was designed to colonize the minds of Africans. And for that matter, it's when the government of Uganda, under the Ministry of Education and Sports, they said, let us review the curriculum of Ugandans, so that every young child of Uganda, if you go to school, you must go for education. The students, our younger brothers and sisters, were encouraged. If you go to school, do projects.
Then when you're out,
when you are out, you must go out with a skill. In the same way, the government of Uganda is spearheading the project of having skills to each and everyone.
In school.
Not only in schools, because we have a generation like mine, we didn't happen to get the skills, the projects from the schools. But the government is like, even if you have graduated, we are organizing skills activities to shape your ideology, to make you understand why you must work, have a skill at hand. That's why every region in Uganda, they are calling young people to go and they get some skills. So to my beloved listeners and viewers, today as we celebrate with the entire world, we must remind ourselves, we must work extra hard to make a positive impact. When we look at our plan, our topic today, how to shade or shape the ideology of the future leaders in line with work. When you look at the word ideology itself, it is it's simple transition. What's in your mind is how people do think. That, you know, the challenge we have in Africa, everything has been championed by people who may think they know a lot than us. That's why when you go to villages, even cities, you find most of our young people and even our elders, they are discussing more about Manchester United, more about Arsenal, rather than discussing on matters that are affecting poor infrastructure development. I mean, like hospitals, schools, and all the constructions. But they are discussing on such matters, Manchester Arsenal, which cannot develop our society. But as we celebrate the Labor Day today, we must remind ourselves, what can I do if I'm to develop my society? In the same way, if we are to shape the ideology of young people, it's my responsibility to work extra hard I pay taxes to the government of Uganda in order not to go beyond and beyond to borrow money from outside countries. Me, as Osbert Arinda, I cannot take much of the time, blame the government. Why are you over borrowing money from outside? Because if the government is trying its businesses, they must have money. But if people of that country are not working, what do you expect?
They're not working because they have nothing to do.
We have a lot to do. When you look at the percentage of land use in Uganda and Africa, our land is just blank, doing nothing. Walk from here to Chenjojo. You go to Kampala, you just find land just doing nothing. And people are just discussing about useless matters. Manchester, Arsenal, Chelsea, those are
And
things.
even these, actually, these rich people are undermining these people who are down. You see, when you have your land, someone with money comes, you know what, me, I'm going to take this land. They even sue you.
You see, that again comes back to the word ideology. If you don't know what the constitution says, you don't know who is your current chairperson, LC2, you don't know who is the chairperson of CCD, and actually you are not sure if you have an earlier MP, guess what will happen?
But those many LCs, what, they are also after money.
Well, we need to ask ourselves, where is the source of the money? The moment you know what the source of the money, then you are safe. Our country, Uganda today, even people are not paying taxes. They are blaming the country. We are paying a lot of taxes. It's indirect taxes. You have spent 2 weeks, Manas, working, and you are saying you are paying a lot of taxes? It is an obligation for every Ugandan or anybody who wishes Uganda well to work extra hard.
Okay.
That's why when I left my university after my document as an economist, I said, what should I do to my country, Uganda? I recalled, I have my best friend, the chancellor of the Mountains of the Moon University. He told me, he's my mentor and my role model, said, we got free education of Uganda. But together with my colleagues like Chief Justice Manyindo, we asked ourselves and the community like Father Albert, what can we do to appreciate the people of Toro, the people of Gwenzori, and the government of Uganda for giving us education? The only answer was we must give education to our young people. If you are to help our society, because there was no assurance by that time that they can even they can be alive up to time. So in the same way, what I copied from my role model and most people, I said, I must invest much of my time teaching young people how to work, how to love Uganda. The moment you are loyal, you love Uganda, and you are ready to sacrifice for Uganda, then nothing else you can do for such country. That's why on the 29th, last Saturday, I championed a program whereby we are discussing on this same matter, how to shape the ideology of 21st students, 21st century students, leaders. Because if you give the best ideology to students, leaders of our time, then expect the best. And the function was honored by great men of this country, whereby we had Kanopada Nkunda. He's a secretary for High Command of the mighty UPDF. We had our regional police commander. He was there to discuss with young people. Because if you don't give young people the history, you give them the present, then they cannot predict the future. So it's our obligation to work extra hard to remind the entire institutions what we deserve. Because the problems of Uganda in the early 1962, they were not the same problems of 1981. Because when you look at even the 10 points programs, which forced His Excellency President Museveni to go to bush to liberate Uganda, currently they are no longer the strong points because the society is dynamic, the society is changing. So as young people, we remind ourselves, what should we do? That's why whenever I get time, I visit my neighborhood schools, secondary schools. I discuss with them. How far with new curriculum? Where are you finding a challenge? If you find a challenge, report. If you call me, I know at least I can meet the DO. I discuss with him. If I go to Kampala, I know I can go to Ministry of Education and Sports. I inquire what is not happening. So it's a matter of giving right information to our colleagues. And you know, when you have information, that's the best thing. You can easily fight corruption. You can fight embezzlement of government funds. You can fight all forms of injustices. These programs of homosexuality, lesbianism, we can fight them. Last time when I met
as you're fighting, what is the best leadership style?
Well, when you look at the best leadership style, it's a matter of having masses that are oriented. Because if each and everyone knows it is my obligation to do this and leave this, the society can move on. When you look at developed countries like Germany, America, China, they take time to see even the president. You find a minister, chairperson knows 5 people, ministers, members of the Senate, they have their responsibilities. But the challenge we have here in Uganda today is that we don't have a well-structured leadership. Everybody is looking at President Museveni. Even somebody in the village wishes to see President Museveni working with him, even digging and doing other donkey work, and of which is not the case. If we sensitize
our leaders,
but we cannot continue in lamentations. Me, I don't have any time to blame our leaders, but it's my obligation to sensitize the generation. We look for the better leadership. That's why the problems of Uganda towards independence, it was not the same message. What forced President Museveni to fight poor regimes of that time?
Okay.
So the leadership we deserve is a society that is well informed about who is supposed to do this and what is obligation. In a society whereby leaders are working for the betterment of the community, they don't own a lot, because a leader is a servant.
Yeah, he's a servant.
Every time you are not happy, whenever you say challenge, you get my point.
Yeah, I'm getting
Because if I'm earning 20 millions or 30 millions, but none of my society members is having even a motorcycle, a bicycle, guess what will happen?
Okay.
I must challenge myself to make sure all my people in my society are doing well. Therefore, I cannot save. That's why in Uganda today, some people who have a lot of money that are known, they are not in political leaderships. You get?
They make their own money.
Because they must spend a lot of the time. Because whenever we have a challenge, even if there's any program, just look at political leaders. You look at political leaders, you say, Honorable, how are you, sir? I'm organizing this activity kindly. Can you share with me some money? I need to buy water. What? To help people. Then the man will be like, if I don't do this, I may not go back to my political seat.
No. Most of them, they don't give.
They may not give you, but next time there will be a burial. They will be there. Somebody is having a Thanksgiving, they are calling them. I was telling my colleagues, if we are to have good leadership, whereby you find an LMP, a minister, even a president, in a society, you are giving a church more than 1,000 iron sheets. And each iron sheet is costing almost 40,000-50,000 shillings. And that society, there is no clinic, there is no school, there is nothing. And the members of the society, they have been subjected on paying and contributing for the construction of the church. I cannot embrace such idea. My point is, if the society, that money, more than 100 million, you are giving it just to build a single church, why can't you start like a small commercial bank for people? Support agricultural banks. Last time we were championing the program. How can we have agricultural bank to people of Uganda? So that these commercial banks that are giving people loans on high interest rates, they can be controlled easily. Because we know if we have our agricultural bank, then you can get some money at smaller interest rate. You support your livelihood.
Okay.
Recently, I was discussing with my mother. I told her, you must revise your time which you spend in the garden. How much are you going to get at the end of the month? I was telling her, we must listen to our president because he's our direct representative, even to the God.
So how much of the current change is permanent?
How much is the current change permanent? We cannot say the change will be permanent or what, but if we are to have a change, there are different forms of change. This one, we cannot say it will come by God, but we must work for ourselves. When you look at Singapore, at a certain point, it was not performing well. But leaders of their country, which was just spearheaded by the Prime Minister, they said, "Come and mbaya, we must have a better Singapore." You get? So it's us to say we need a better Uganda. Whereby, if I've been spending 20,000 taking alcohol, I can spend 1,000, I take a soda, and then the balance, I can use it to support productive systems. Whereby, no, if I buy a goat, it will produce. If I support my parents, I buy maybe some agricultural products which can support them, then I'm participating.
Okay.
The challenge which we have when you look at it, when you meet people of URA, they will tell you, if we have a big number of registered people paying taxes, the number cannot go beyond 4 million of you Ugandans. But of which 4 million people who are supposed to pay taxes, not a half of them are paying taxes. I don't find even that a half of people that are paying taxes, most of them, they will be government workers or this well-cooperated companies, whereby paying a tax it's a must. And you find the rest of the members in the society, they're not paying taxes. They are good at dodging.
They are dodging because they have nothing to do. They don't have work.
What do you mean? How are they surviving in Uganda? When you find everybody's
because now you see now like these motorcycles of what to Gende what the ones that are brought being given on loans. They give you a bike, you work. Let me say, like, if they steal that bike over, you get some problems. They take it and maybe you've paid like 3M. You see, so you again go down.
So what we need,
you start from zero. Don't you see that even those things are disturbing us Ugandans?
Because Ugandans, most Ugandans, they miss the concept of patriotism. They don't have the word integrity in their minds, and in the word profession, they don't have it. And above all, the word sacrifice, love, and to be loyal, they don't have them in their minds. While at university, where I served as a president of URA Tax Society, we are trained to understand that any member in society, you need to have a TIN number. Whatever you do, if you are to give taxes, such taxes, they must be known. If they come to me, they say, Arenda Osbert, now you are 27 years. How much have you contributed the government of Uganda? The history must be very clear.
Okay.
This amount of money I've contributed. Last time I bought land. Okay? Yeah, last time I bought a motorcycle. Or I had to shop some materials from China. Okay? If I start a small business at home, I must have books whereby this is my book which shows the sales. This is my book, which is just clearly showing how much I've purchased. And these are my records. And if they come, members of URA, they must have records. Then I gave a simple contribution because we are having services that are provided. Have much, they're not invisible. Because none of us can manage to have a private bodyguard from the mighty UPDF, but day and night you are safe. You know, in Uganda today, you can make a decision, travel to Kampala at any time. You don't expect any roadblock. In Uganda, you not any time you can wake up, you go to your farm and you work. In Uganda, you are much aware. Whatever you want to do, if you are told you have an idea, you can start up a business. Nobody will say, first go and register. But why can't you just put it in your mind, I must register it. I contribute. You get? Then from there, I need to deserve better services. Most Ugandans, how much we have cried over and over about poor services delivery. But if they call for facts, people don't go for such facts because they don't pay. Okay? So it's us to work extra hard with just minds of contributing the well-being of the society.
Okay. So now when we go back on the youth side, for the youth, for them, when these people are giving money, they give money like, let's say like me, you, and someone else. How can you give like 3 people, let me say 1M, and you expect those people to do well? Because the person you've given the money, the person who has received the money, will be like, now they've given us this 1M. Will it really be enough? You see, that one will also bring some problems between those people that you've given that money. Instead of at least saying that if it is like 1M, let's give like 300. Then you again see how.
Now,
but this Uganda
on the issue of money.
Because there are those guys in villages where
you see, that's why I said,
who has even nowhere to start from.
Our topic is very clear, shaping the ideology of the future leaders. We must start with our minds. You don't have any registered physical disability, and you are much aware you can reason very well. First, use your head first. I have said it's only in Uganda. Why not? Because I haven't moved a lot. Whereby land is plenty. We have most of Bachiga, Wanitoro. They never.
They are digging.
They were just suffering in the hills of Kigezi Highlands. But they could not first wait for death from Kigezi Highlands. They came here. They had to go on tea plantations to work extra hard.
And they are making a lot of money, by the way.
You get? They have, after getting small money they got, they never spent it in luxury life. They said, let us buy a small plot of land, or let me hire a small piece of land. Okay? And from there, almost every Muchiga in Uganda has money. And some people who are pocketing, they are saying they are being supported by the government. Never. And has never happened. But we need to let us liberate our minds.
Commercial break. Tugaruke next week achecho kumalira.
Chinayu chinyumira. Whether it is Katogo, Chikomando, Rolex Majasa to Nyanyambisi. Man, wherever I am, I enjoy Chinayu with your TV channels on my phone.
Nyumiro omulembe omupya ogujjudde ebisanyusa omuli emikutu gya TV egisukka mu 8 n'egya radio nga kwotadde ne zifirimu ng'osinziirira wonna w'oli. Genda mu App Store oteeke app ya yo TV channels ku simu yo.
The Executive Director of Joint Effort to Save the Environment, OJC, Mr. Patrick Baguma Atenyi, is inviting the general public to take part in activities for celebrating the 30th anniversary of the organization. The activities include bicycle racing and launch of the 1 million tree planting campaign slated for May 13th. Registration is at Life FM Building, Plot 11, Barrier Road in Fort Portal. Corporate Football Gala will take place at Boma Ground, Fort Portal on May 14th. Proceeds from these activities will go to Toro Baby's Home.
Oh yes, the theme for the celebration is celebrating 30 years of transforming communities through conservation, water, sanitation and hygiene and livelihood improvement. The guest of honor will be Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. This celebration will climax with a climate change conference and an exhibition at Kalia Courts that will start on 18th and end on 19th May 2023. For more details, contact 0781 433047 or 0772 452945.
Fort TV, stay entertained.
Welcome back from the commercial break. So tubefikiria on tubaza how to shape the ideology of future leadership. Yeah. As in actually in work, tulio babemba chatusobora umseja mkuru onu. You, the youths and others who are out there, you're not working, you're just sleeping. Mulindiriza just edukuija nivyo mulie. Abandi bakirana kutandika kuiba because you don't want to work. Mulioku. So there are very many things you can do. Nkebe balesere bishaka, nke new curriculum yizira masomero, ebya painting, kulima n'ebindi byona. So musobora kugetania nibyo museja mkuru Osbert aliona atusoboraho. Whoever is out there and you're not working, oliyo no gamba ngunyowe nkasoma tinkurora mulimo gunasomerire nyowe ndi hanu ntasome runindo hontu kuonka. So try your level best kura. You get yourself something to do than just sitting there and watching. Oine kuba naiwe kuyiyo bwongo kagamba nyowe nkanye nka TRINAH kike kinsobora kumanejinga nkanye mane gange kike kinso kukora kurora nanye nayo baisaho nyencha na bakurungi nanye na bantu bagamba ono mwana at least she has something to do. She's working. Even if it needs digging, you go and dig. No lime bicholi, no lime mhogo, no lime bintu. Ebyo kurora ngubira kuihayo. No soba kirima tomorrow, no bitwara mukatale, no bitunda nusanga ngu oine nkaiwe choye kolireo than kulere ngaro. That's why in Uganda we are very poor. Ni yesi echiasembere actually kubi nyuma. Habu obugara bwaitu so and tugumantu ebembeza our leaders ngu they are not working mbalia sente zezabalia iwe ni wazukora iwo contributing. What have you contributed on that money zo kugamba ngu the leaders are eating our money nebindi. So Mr. Osbert, I think sobara kwenga kutochensuza musongegi.
You see, what we need to focus on or what we can focus at, an abbreviation can work for us, is to liberate our minds first. I appreciate the government of Uganda for conducting some seminars like Adrogical Kinikis, because some of us happen to attend the national, we happen to go to Chankwanzi for National Leadership Institute to be liberated. Recently, there is a program that is paired by the Uganda ISO, whereby they are trying to reach out to university students to tell them that what are their responsibilities. Okay? I thank Afande Kanokatabazi. He's a deputy director of ISO in Uganda. He's a role model to most of young people, especially the members, the students who are at higher institutions of learning, that's university and colleges. He has reminded us of the history of Uganda, the current situation, and has projected the future of Uganda. In the same way, I must appreciate the Uganda Police Force Uganda People's Defense Forces for their contribution toward the peace and security we have in the country. However much it's not 100% to our expectations. Some mistakes and errors do happen, but we must appreciate what's good. Then we move on. As young people, we must challenge ourselves. I'm a product or a son of a poor man and a woman. But my dad spends most of his time to tell me how many cows they had and how some of our family members misused them. That's the history he gives me. When I'm moving, it seems like this land was ours, but they had to sell it off. Now you feel that at your heart. The same way. That's how we look at Uganda.
So hati iwe nka Osbat, what do you think that our leaders should do kugamba at least bagira impingise ibata mu ba youth? Abokuba what I know, osobora kugamba let's provide them with some money. You give them money but still they don't know what to use, what they should do.
You see,
with that money for it help.
The challenge we have, our leadership is not empowered too. Most of our leaders, whom we call leaders, they know little or nothing about their ideology. They won their political seats accidentally. Okay? They are not leaders, but they are just hustlers and the pretenders of the service providers. But we cannot continue such lamentations because I don't have time to come here and start discussing honorable MPs, discussing saga in cabinet ministers who are taking away the assets of Ugandans, but rather to spend most of the time discussing on the matters of youth and how we can project ourselves and we can take over this vital role to develop Uganda. Whether we like it or not, somebody who is at 2 years, other factors who would consider, must stay longer than me. Okay? That's why, whether we like it or not, in our generation, time is coming for a new leadership and must take over the mantle. But the question is, are we prepared?
That's true.
And if we are not prepared, what should be done? That's why everybody in Uganda must have must project his vision very well or her vision very well. Then you get focused. Be like, I need this. Whether it rains or there is too much sunshine, I must reach there. When we meet, we normally discuss about revolutionary methods of work. And when we talk about revolutionary methods of work, we don't just talk about revolution in Uganda, which they talk about of which had to end 1986. But we discuss a lot of revolution methods of work. I have my colleagues in the mighty UPDF. They say, never show your weakness.
Indeed.
I was at Heritage. We had our commandant. Could tell us, don't show your weakness. Get focused. Okay? A leader cannot cry, I don't have food, I'm very hungry, I don't have this. But a leader provides a way. You get?
Yeah.
So, and a leader, it is not necessary to be a church leader, to be a leader politically, but you must take the mantle of leadership on your own. Okay? I cannot call President Museveni to help me to sleep. That's not his work. But I'm a leader on my own behalf. And I'm the first leader. Then other people, they are just here to assist if they can. So I cannot give out my life somebody to take control, to be in charge of my life.
Because like now there are very many parents whose hearts are now damaged. Actually, even other students and other kids outside there, like this suggestion that they brought in Parliament in nursing certificate in nursing should be eliminated, and of which you find some parents they can't manage the higher tuition to give. So at least if a parent can manage, like that tuition or certificate, then later when that kid starts working, you can upgrade. But our leaders actually are the ones supporting this 100%. Don't you see that they are discouraging some of the students?
When we are looking at education, we are making a polish up in education of Uganda. The fact is, we know we are not educated. You find somebody at university can give you facts. If I told my dad gave me half of my tuition, I could be somewhere. Guess what will happen? You saw what happened, how people had to challenge the system. People didn't study in COVID-19, but they made it at senior force. Yeah, you get? And such a person, you want to trust such a person with the life of your parent, the life of your brother, and or maybe your own life. What we need is good education in Uganda. That is not theological, but nobody can give it to us. If I agree, I know nothing. I don't need to say I need this job. I should first set up the own necessities. Then I move for that job. You get? And that's why I'm calling all young people not to aim at buying for jobs. You get? Yeah. But rather to seek for knowledge. The moment you have knowledge, you have your contribution. When you look at the history and facts about my best colleague, Afande General Mugisha, he will tell you, I had to step aside. My dad had a close relationship with President Obote. But based on what was happening in Uganda of that time, I could not wait to join General Museveni. However much, most of the matters we discussed is not providing them. But he remains his leader. At that time, he had the best concept that was outcompeting the concept of President Obote. Okay. So what do we need as young people? That history may not help me because I was not there in 81. Okay? But I'm alive. Alive, yeah. At this moment. And such history helps us.
It's helping
to know how can we position ourselves. And people who have undergone military, who have gone for military training. Actually, to go for military training, it is by constitution. Everybody in Uganda who is in a good health must get an idea that is provided by the military of Uganda, because Uganda People's Defense Forces is a national army. Guess what was the cause? What was the case? Okay. From there, you get the word endurance into practical. The moment you have endurance as a character in you, then you have leadership. The moment you don't have a word endurance, you are out. Most people are successful. They are good at the word endurance. You must endure. Vumilia, vumilia, vumilia. If you cannot accept that concept of vumilia vijana, or kaze vita, then you are out. You get? You know, when most of my colleagues, they serve the mighty UPDF, they say vumilia vijana.
Vumilia, be patient.
You get? Not only being patient, but you must admit if you have to do something important. Whatever we need, it's not on a silver plate. We must work for it. So I call upon each and everybody in Uganda, especially my fellow young people, whereby the hopes and the good tax base in Uganda, the better Uganda we deserve, it's in our hands. Let us leave the word lamentation. We move forward, because the task ahead of us will never ever be greater than the power within us.
That's true.
You get? So I know, me as a Rinda, I have a lot I can do. Not necessarily in a political position. But if I come, I request the Fort TV. I'm here, this is a free talk. I didn't pay even a single coin. I'm giving a message to the beloved listeners. So, and for that matter, I say thank you so much. The founding members of Fort TV for coming out with this service.
Okay.
Not only discuss at radios, but even our faces, our records can be shared.
Yeah.
You get? It means a lot for a society that is being transformed. You get? This is a service I can give to my country. I know 1 or 2 people can listen to me, they pick a point. Then they help us to build a better Uganda. To my colleagues, I know we are in deep mud because of education we got, but I encourage you, don't give up. Admit, go to any village, behave like a dropout, but work with a profession. Okay?
Okay.
Because if you have that in your minds, you are ready to do whatever it takes, then you are going to help Uganda. But the moment you feel like, apart from work at the State House, man is going to Parliament, man is going to Saudi Arabia, man is going to see what, I'm finished. Please, that is not the case. Uganda is one of the better countries globally. When you are here at Initolo, you know at any time you can grow beans or any food crop.
Yeah.
And what does it mean? There are some words which we need to eliminate from our understandings, like a cash crop and a food crop. We don't have any food crop, a cash crop. Okay? Anything you have, it's either to make it a cash crop, a food crop. If I have my potatoes, I can make some snacks there. And I process them, they go to Dubai. Can't I get paid?
You can be paid.
Isn't it money?
It's money.
It cannot be a cash crop.
It can.
It's me to decide if it is a cash crop or a food crop. You get? Those are words which were imposed to Africans not to understand, not to listen. So if I make my own decision to invest a little money having growing cabbages, at the end of it I can export them to Juba, I can export them to Dar es Salaam, I can export them to Nairobi. And at the end I can get some money. So I encourage my fellow colleagues, let us liberate our minds, we get focused, we invest most of our times in something that can end up giving us some money, minus money. You don't have a go ahead. People are imposing homosexuality to the society of Uganda because we are poor. Everybody's like, the moment we disagree with them, they are not ready to support us. And they are saying AIDS. But malaria is a deadly. It's a deadly disease that is affecting the health of Ugandans. So let us work extra hard. Such words like supporting homosexuality in Uganda, we can resist them. The challenge we have in Uganda today, even when you go to villages, you cannot find Irish potatoes, you cannot find beans, you cannot find cabbages, even greens. Guess what will happen? They are calling people in towns to give them, when you are coming from town, come with sweet potatoes from Kabondere. Look at it. You get? And what is contributing to that? To some big extent, most young, energetic people, they have left towns, they have left villages to towns. You find it's only your grandmother or your father and your mother
Who are there suffering,
who are there.
hustle.
And they cannot make it because they are no longer competitive. So I was telling my people, after graduation, I made a decision to leave Fort Portal City and I go in a village. Right now I'm staying in a village whereby I can participate and I do something. And I cannot lament, calling my dad, please, can you save me? What I can do, I say, my dad, I have little money, kindly add for me something. And sometimes I feel happy if my dad says, Arinda, do you have some money? My dad calls me Arinda because he loves it, he knows its meaning. But when people continue calling us bad, you get it.
So you don't like us bad?
Because it is a word or a name that was subject to me. But when you say Arinda, even you feel it, you know what you are meaning. Okay? So I'm trying to bring the concept of Africanity. We must love ourselves. We must love our cultures. That's why when we meet a Mutoro, we say, Amuti. The person feels more happy than calling him or a certain, because maybe some they know they are importances and why such pet names do exist. That is patriotism. They are loving their culture.
Okay.
Okay.
So as we are concluding, what message would you like to give to our leaders who are there? They are saying, for us we want to help the youths in this and this. At least if they can help us in teaching us.
Well,
but not giving us some money. They call like 5 people. We have given you 1 M instead of at least teaching us how we can make money. How you can start up something that will give you the morale of doing something else.
Well, as you know,
that can be of helpful.
Change is gradual. It is by process. Even our political leaders, religious leaders, and cultural leaders, making a significant change, it can't come in a minute. It is a gradual process. As we look for assistance from our leaders, let us first liberate ourselves. We can call them for assistance. If they refuse to assist us, we as younger people, we have whatever it takes to liberate ourselves. You get? As long as there is national security, which we're not paying for. We have a fertile soils, which we're not paying for. We have the best climate, which we're not paying for. You get? So, we can do without them. But it's their responsibility to come and report back to us. What I know in Uganda, if you have 10, 20 committed young people, you know in Uganda reaching President Museveni, it doesn't take a minute. You mobilize media, you give a message. The following day, President will send people to inquire from you, what's your problem? What kind of assistance do you need? And you listen. The parliament will listen to us, and we move forward. So currently, I'm challenging our leaders not take most of their times in grabbing the government resources, enriching themselves. If they're enriching themselves, it could be better. But the worst thing I hate is them after embezzling our money. They after embezzling the money that is not even for Uganda, which is a loan. They are taking it back to America for leisure. That's the worst thing somebody can do to his country. It's like when you have cows, you need to pay school fees for your children. After selling the car, you are like, I cannot give you all 2 million for school fees. You say I'm taking 500, take some bottle. But remember, supposed to pay 2 million. Then, where do you expect to get the other 500?
That's why we are still backwards.
So I'm challenging our political leaders, religious leaders, and cultural leaders to come back to line on a drawing board. We discuss matters that are affecting our society. Agents of colonial masters and people are still having such messages should pause on, then move forward. Most Ugandans, they know what to do, but they fear to tell the masses because most of the masses have been corrupted. Ideologically, they have been corrupted. But I have a strong belief, if few of us who knows the history of the ideology and the best ideology we need, especially in this fourth industrial revolution, we can move forward and we preach to the masses. One by one makes a bundle. Okay? And one candle can light 1,000 and 1,000 of candles. So today it has been the best day in my history, and to some few people have listened to me because it's not easy. I wish every Ugandan a happy International Labour Day. And for those who have not been the members of labor force, take part and contribute to my fellow brothers and sisters who are at home, especially secondary school students. Please, can they help your parents? Work extra hard because you are very strong now to outcompete your parents, your guardians, and any other elder in society in terms of work. Please contribute as you love Uganda. To my university and colleges, students, it's our time to use force industrial revolution carefully if we're to develop Uganda. What am I trying to mean? The time we spend on social media, let it be a productive time. Not going on your phone after buying data and you watch videos that are not of great importance. Watch a video, you know you have spent your data, but you are learning something. Maybe maybe making chapatis, listening, downloading messages of revolutionists. Listen to them. Not listening on this music that has no agenda, but to Zalamubara. I cannot encourage that. Then to our parents, I know most of our parents, their minds were colonized to the worst moment, to the worst point. Kindly try whatever you do, you revise a bit to make a significant change. Then, finally, the message is a surrounding message to appreciate the government of Uganda, the people of Uganda, and everybody who's in Uganda, who is participating in labor force. Apart from participating in labor force, who is going ahead to pay taxes that can support the economy of Uganda. A happy International Labour's Day. Salute.
Hardworking ones.
And for those who are not hardworking,
don't celebrate this day.
Challenge
let
us challenge ourselves as we commemorate this day. We should feel it. We should know surely I have worked. And apart from working, this is a product of my sweat. You know, if you work very hard, you get a saving, later you get an investment, then you die as a hero. In my culture, if somebody is very old and has his cows, then you must be loved. Even toward the death, almost everybody must be at home. Because you never know, you can end up saying, I have given you the other cow, I have given you the other one. But if you don't work very hard, even your death moment, you feel it. It's when you feel it that you did do anything. You get? That's why I'm encouraging each and everybody to work extra hard, to earn respect. If you are poor, you don't have respect.
You'll never be respected.
But I know my fellow Ugandans, we have whatever it takes to come out from such history. Mama, allow me to wish the people of Uganda a happy International Labour's Day.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for hosting me.
You too, thanks for coming. So I want about your hair rock. Mwahura, you who are always in bed, timkwenda kukora 24/7 iwe, anogenda hamulimo ogurukira ngo let me go and rest ko bichi. So don't celebrate this day. This day is for only and only those hardworking, young, old people. So you are really today is a public holiday, and those people who are not working, the way how they can celebrate like these days. But today is a public holiday. Kid, I want to kuja gukora nanye nza kuhumura. So mwekambe, you need to work. Owatakora atasemerire no kulia habukuba noba nolya kecho takolerire just kwitisa batahi bawo bunako. So as for today, let me wish you a blessed day. Enjoy. Happy Liberation Day.